We are not the first civilization on Earth to face a catastrophic wipeout. Humans are fear reports. Human civilization, as we currently know it, will not survive much longer, in addition to the critical structural faults that mankind has built into its complex systems such as food, electricity, finance, politics, etc. Anti-human globalists are rapidly deploying plans to take down what we know as our civilization today. Now, we have to prepare our Earth for a post-human future. What few modern people seem to recognize is that it's not the first time a human civilization has fallen on planet Earth. At least one former global civilization also collapsed, and nearly all the evidence of its existence has long been buried or destroyed. We take a look around us today and ask this question: do we see anything that would survive 1,000 years if human civilization collapsed? No buildings would remain after 1,000 years, and nearly all the stuff that defines our society today would disappear, especially if it were buried underwater and mud flowing from an asteroid impact or another great flood. And I was discussing lately with some people around me, everything we have, all the information we have today, the knowledge recently is put on the internet. If the internet disappears, kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Before this modern technology, most of us had books, even encyclopedias, and if we didn't have encyclopedias, we could borrow a volume from a friend or go to the friend's house and research something. Well, that's not the case anymore. Most things are not even on written paper. But what would happen if our culture today were to somehow, by an impact or a great flood, cease to exist? The entire digital realm of human knowledge would vanish, as there are no man-made storage system in existence today that can store information for 1,000 years. Hard drives lose their integrity in about a decade, and even optical storage media degrades over a century or two. Perhaps the only evidence that might remain from our current civilization would be concrete bridges and a layer of microplastics deposited around the world, leading future archaeologists to declare that this collapsed civilization to have existed during the toxic epoch, quote unquote. Now, the Great Pyramids in Egypt would survive, of course, as they have already demonstrated through at least one collapse that took place about 10,000 years ago, the last ice age. And we have embedded videos here of Graham Hancock. We can read on the Giza pyramids, alleged perfectly with Orion's belt in the year, they were aligned in the year 10,450 BC. Now, human civilization is far more fragile than most people recognize, and with anti-human globalists now trying to somehow do something to dim the photosynthesis on our planet, what will happen to our global food supply? Humanity will be lucky to emerge from this engineering global genocide with even 1 billion survivors, and that's still far higher than what the globalists are seeking to achieve with other means. Now, what does that mean for humanity? This is the primary subject of today's Situation Update, bringing startling information about the true history of humanity and why human civilization as we know it today is on the verge of a cataclysmic collapse that will end the human world as we know it. Now, we know that Sumerians, they lived for tens of thousands of years, according to the Sumerian king list, spans of life for over 241 years before the Great Flood. Something happened. Obviously, after the Great Flood, people were living much less, much less in years. Something happened to our atmosphere. We know that before the Great Flood, we didn't have a rainbow, and after that we did, according to what was written in the Old Testament with Noah's flood. So we have had a lot of catastrophes, even the legend of Atlantis sinking. So, this is on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.